Hey everyone, welcome back. In the last video, we talked about system user and assistant roles in the GPT API. Today, we are going to go one level deeper because talking is great, but what if your AI could actually run functions, get live data, or interact with your database or API calls, right? So that's where tools and functions calling come in. uh, that can make your AI do stuff with your custom data, custom APIs, right? So, what are GPT tools or function calling? Function calling basically lets GPT call your backend functions by returning a structured tool call. You define what tools are available, their inputs, and GPT will decide when and how to call them. Think of it like giving your AI a toolbox. For example, you want to use your own weather app to get weather of a certain location. So you can use weather API and feed that response to API conversation in to GPT, right? Or a stock checker or a booking app, right? So let's get started. So this is the code that will be running to, and this is the code I'll be running to give you an example sort of, right? So the goal is to create a chatbot that responds to a user's question like what's the weather for what's the weather like in Mumbai, right? And this is the question that we'll be using. Or you can ask basically this will simulate what a actual user uh, this will simulate the actual user's question in a chatbot situation, right? So goal of the code is that we need to create a chatbot that responds to a user's question like what's the weather like in Mumbai today. This is the real situation that users will be using. Like, for example, you create your own app and this is the question that user types in your chatbot window. So what should GPT reply? It can't generate a random answer by like it has to use some API, a weather API, to get the actual weather today or time or a stock broker, like you get the stock prices, anything you want in real time, not some generated data, random generated data, right? So what's happening is, let's just write the code. In previous video already did the setup, so please refer to previous video if you need to set up the env file or install these dependencies, right? So let's get started. Run this code. We just import env file, operating system, as well as OpenAI library, and then we just load the API key to the operating system. Then we initialize this OpenAI object, and now the actual code starts, right? So the step one is define the function GPT can use, right? So we are creating a function array and we are giving it a description of single function, and the name of the function is get current weather, and we can give it a description, parameters, type, properties. This is just the description of the function. Basically we are telling GPT here's a tool you can use called get weather and get current weather. It takes one required input location and one optional unit. This is just a description, not the actual function. So think of it as a menu GPT can choose from. We can have multiple functions later on, we'll discuss that, right? So we have created a description of our function. Now the step 2 is that we can let GPT decide whether to call the function or not. So just like in our previous prompts, we have this new property tools choice and we are setting it to auto. So GPT has a choice whether to use this a tool or not that we provided. We provided our function and description above, right? And so what's happening is you are sending a normal chat message from the user. You also pass in the list of tools and tool choice auto basically just says that if you want to use the function, use it, otherwise it no, it can, you can also define it as none, and it won't use any tools that you have provided. So now let's run this step 2 and see what happens. We are printing the response choices message content, right? And it's none. Actually what's happening here is that GPT isn't giving you the final reply yet, and it has just given you a response back that is a tool call, and it's not the actual response. So let's see in step 3 how we can use that tool call. So in step 3 what we are going to do is we are going to extract the tool call that we got from GPT. These are the tool call will be in the obviously the first index. So we just extract the tool call. So what we actually do, what we are actually doing here is that GPT has returned a tool call at something like I want to call get current weather function with location Mumbai and unit Celsius, but we can define arguments here, multiple arguments here, but we are going for simple message. So we extract the function name, the arguments as a JSON string. We use JSON.loads tool call function arguments to get the arguments and the name, right? We have defined a function here. So let's run this. Okay, so now we have the step 4, run the real function in your backend simulate function. So what we are gonna do in step 4 is that we can run our actual function with those inputs. What's happening is that we are here we are just simulating the function. You can add a API call or database call, just API or database call, and to or do some calculations on the real-time data, and then return back that string. We're returning back that sentence, but to keep it simple for now, I'm just returning the string with the arguments, right? The weather in Mumbai is 31-degree unit with scattered clouds. You can call API and then respond, then put it back in the response, and we will have a result stored in this variable. So we call it using arguments, which unpacks the dictionary named parameters, right? Dictionary into named parameters. Now let's move on to step 5. So finally we have the step 5, give the result back to GPT so it can finish the reply. So now we have our result from the function, and we are just gonna use that result in the final prompt in the tool with the role of tool, and tool call ID and content will be the response that we were given from our function, right? So what's happening is you give GPT a second round of messages: the original user question, the tool call message from GPT, and a new tool role with the actual result from your function. So what happens is that now let's run this. This will be so finally we run our step 5 by giving GPT back the results, right? We have the original user question, a tool call message, and a new tool role prompt with the actual result from our function, right? Or API call or database call, and we get the Mumbai result. So GPT now acts like it knows the weather, but actually you fed it the live data from your API or a tool, right? So this is how you can integrate your own tools into creating your own custom apps or chatbots. This is the core concept, how it works. So first we import all the libraries. We import the API key, check if API key is okay or not, initialize OpenAI object. Then we define the function GPT can use. This will be the tool, the description of the function. Then we then we create a prompt with tool choice auto, and we ask a question to GPT, and it will respond with a tool call, not with the actual message, right? So after this step 3, we extract the function name and arguments from the tool call. We extract what it wants to call. We extract the function name, arguments. Then in step 4, we run the real function or the API call or the database call, or we can simply simulate function for now to keep things simple. And we pass it the arguments, and then we store the result in this variable called result, right? So, and in final step, we give the result back to GPT so it can finish the reply. We have 3 prompts: the original question from the user, the tool call message from GPT, and a new prompt with a role tool with a tool ID, and the result that we got from our own API or from our own tool. And we finally just print the message. Thank you guys. Let's build something. Hope you can make something interesting. Let me know in comments if you make anything with your own tools, if you make anything interesting. Thank you guys.